Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Homecoming, Season 1, Episode 5. It's called Helping. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, this one started off far too happy.
It did. Yeah,
that
it was
it,
weird.
it had to go downhill by the end. Um, there's a scene, because we've been sort of talking about how she's got a connection, how Heidi's got a connection with Walter, but isn't necessarily romantic yet. This episode kind of confirmed that it was in some way. Even
Mm.
if she's not necessarily going for it or pursuing it, there's that temptation to
Yeah.
have a beauty routine, as the clerk put it.
Mm.
I felt bad for Heidi actually. That woman who was trying to sell her makeup, like when she saw how sort of nervous and like unsure she was. It was like a car like a mechanic taking advantage of someone who doesn't know anything about cars. It was like, oh, blood in the water. I'm going to, she makes a commission, is what I'm saying. She makes a
Yeah.
damn commission, and she saw her coming.
Yep.
That's what happened here. So, I will note the music playing in this was very familiar. I'm like, I've heard this before, and it wasn't until I finished watching it that it clocked what I thought it was, and then I went and checked. It was actually the main theme from Body Double, which is a movie from the 80s, a Brian De Palma film.
It's
Uh,
funny how I think it was maybe just last episode on the review I mentioned that the direction reminded me of De Palma.
yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Uh,
no idea this was coming.
it's rare that you find movie scores being used, or score of any kind being used, in something else. You know,
Well, I mean, there is no composer for this show. Every piece of music is sourced.
yeah, that's true, but there's not been a lot of music either. Like,
There's not.
in terms of something that sounds like score,
No, that's true.
not been a bunch. There was one piece, but if you're telling me that's sourced, I just didn't recognize
Oh
it.
no, I saw Esmail tweet about it. That
Okay,
everything in it is sourced.
that is interesting, but it's strange. Like, I remember seeing Kick-Ass in 2010 and finding it really weird that took themes from other movies and then did new versions of them into the main theme of Kick-Ass, and it kind of mixed and blended them, and it was like, this is weird. Like, and it's not. It was good. Like, I was like, but it's so strange that someone said, "Hey, what about we do like a greatest hits of other movie scores that we like, instead
Yeah.
of making completely new stuff."
Yeah,
Um,
I find it weird just when a song is used by something that has, when it has such a strong association with something else,
hmm.
and then they went, "Oh, we're going to use that song as well." I find that that's often just a bold choice in itself.
I like Ghostbusters song. That's weird.
Well, yeah, someone else using that that's not for a parody joke,
Yes. Well, that was the joke, is that no one would use that unless it was for a parody or joke,
right?
because it's actually
Like,
got the lyrics Ghostbusters, who are you going to call in it?
it reminds me actually it was like 2 or 3 episodes ago on Sabrina. The song at the end was actually the main, the title theme for Vikings. And I thought, oh, it's weird to use another show's title credits.
Um, I guess it isn't, isn't that? That one is because it's just a song, though, right? It's just a source song that Vikings happen to use for their
Yeah,
titles. I'm sure I've seen that before. Like,
yeah. It happens. It's just I always gets me where it's like, oh yeah, because that it has such it builds an association with
le-
something.
less now, but back in the 90s when most shows used songs, because most of them had opening title
Yeah,
sequences.
yeah,
um, Like, I don't think you can hear the Dawson's Creek song and not think of Dawson's Creek, even if you've not ever seen Dawson's Creek. It just
yeah.
it just pops into your head. That's what it is.
It's true. Yeah,
It's not everything had its own unique theme created by a band like Nerf Herder, who did the theme for the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
yes. But it's like if someone uses the Friends theme tune.
Oh yeah, but that was written for the show though.
Yeah, but other people still use it every so often, and you hear
Sure.
it, and it's like it's weird.
In fact, there's a great stand-up comedy bit about how it was only written for the opening titles, and then they thought, oh, we can sell this as a song, so they had to write more verses for it, and how the later verses contradict the early verses. They clearly weren't really paying attention to what they were writing. Um, but I just thought that was amusing.
Yeah,
But that's
whatever
that.
works.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting how these things work, because there are some times where I'll be, oh, that's a source song, and then you'll find out later, no, that's a song they created for the movie, that they just wanted to have a song instead
Yeah,
of score. And I'm like, okay. And then there's other times when it sounds like score, but it's actually a source song, and it's like, okay.
yeah.
Um, But yeah, but that's strange. You don't hear it too often when a score from another movie. The first example I can ever think of, and we'll talk about the episode proper in a second, I promise. But the first example I can ever think of is actually Scream 2. Scream 2 has a theme for Dewey, for Arquette's character, David Arquette's character. And I saw Scream 2 first. Like when I saw Scream 2, I didn't recognize this music from anywhere else. And it wasn't until later I saw a movie called Broken Arrow, which is Christian Slater and John Travolta that's in that. It's just a fun enough action movie. It's the same writer and producer that did Speed. But basically what happened is they used this really cool theme that John Travolta had. He's the villain in that movie. And it's this really slick, badass theme. And they wanted to give Dewey like a badass theme in the Scream 2 because it kind of contradicted his goofiness in the first movie. And they used that as a temp track. And they fell in love with it so much that they said, you know what, can we just get the rights for this and use it? Because I want to keep it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that's what happened.
It is rare you see it in the movie itself. You see it a lot in like trailers.
Oh, sure. Trailers are a different beast. Yeah.
Yeah, but movies themselves, it's rare.
That's it. Even trailers it's kind of become a thing where there's just composing groups that just do music for trailers, like X-Ray Dog and Two Steps from Hell, and there's a bunch of them on YouTube that I frequent.
Yeah, of course there is, but it's not uncommon to use a piece of score from another movie just because it works for your trailer.
The weirdest one I can give you is that the first trailer for RoboCop had music from the Terminator in it, which I think is really strange.
Yes, that's just what you want. Compare them, just more.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. My biggest annoyance with that though is that sometimes I'll see a trailer for a movie and I'll recognize the music, but it'll have been long enough since I've seen whatever the movie was, and it'll bug me.
And you'll just sit there racking your brains thinking what it is instead of actually watching the trailer. Yeah.
And until later when I can Google it or whatever. Whatever. But anyway. Alright, so she ends up buying this makeup, but she kind of changes her mind a little bit just before she goes in. She kind of wipes some of it off. She's feeling kind of self-conscious. But Walter's up to something. Right? And
there he is.
It's worth noting as well, actually. We've been talking about how there's not a whole lot of movement in the camera. I noticed some movement here. And I think it was a POV shot, actually. It was a POV from Heidi coming into the building, seeing Walter as she comes in. The idea that he's the reason she's been making this extra effort. And it's the way he turns and looks at her. It kind of added to that 80s movie vibe that the music was giving it.
Definitely.
So, again, it changed its style a little bit for the point of the scene, which was really nice. But they play a practical joke on her. He got into her office and glued down various items on her desk, but not in the right place. Not everything was straight and aligned like she likes.
She goes to move the pen to straighten it up, as we've seen her do, and it just doesn't.
And then she sort of has a little chuckle because she gets the joke that her stapler's glued down as well. And then the phone rings, and she goes to pick that up, and that's all glued down as well.
It's a pretty good joke.
It's a funny joke, and later on, she comes in and it's the guy, he's like doing all of these classes where he wants to role play. He's like, okay, I'm going to be one of your long-time friends, and this is you coming home, so we're going to role play. And everyone's like, no, we're not doing it. They're all making fun of him. And for some reason he's put on like a cap backwards, and he's put on a top.
Trying to pretend to be like you're trying to be cool to the kids, sort of thing.
Yeah. Cue the gif of Steve Buscemi saying "Hello, fellow children."
Exactly.
But no one's buying it, and then Heidi walks in and says, "Walter volunteers." He's like, "I do." He's like, "Yeah, you do." He's like, "Okay, I do." And I'm like, "Where's this going?" Because she sits him down, and I'm like, "Is this going to get weird? Is it going to be like flirting in front of everyone? Are they all going to start like making comments?" Like I was almost getting uneasy. I was like, "Oh, where's this going?"
Yeah.
And he does get her talking about all of her previous jobs. Where she's been. She's married for a little bit. Or she'd met a married guy and lived with him for a couple of months and so on. And eventually she's like, yeah, I've just been stalling to give the glue time to dry. And then she gets up and walks away, and he's like, wait, what? And he tries to stand up, and the chair's stuck to his ass.
And everyone finds it hilarious. Except the guy who was trying to give the class, who notably doesn't actually go and rat on her for being in his room until after this scene. It's like it's the extra little like salt from her interrupting and taking over the class and being a hit with the audience, essentially, still in the thunder. Yeah.
that he feels the need to go and rat on her. That, oh,
Yes,
she was
it's
in
like,
his room.
oh, no, this is unprofessional.
Yeah, but he did it out of pettiness. It was this scene that kind of, because obviously he was watching before, but he hadn't done it yet.
Yeah.
He did it out of jealousy and anger, or so. So the character dynamics there are good, and we know he's planning another prank. He's talking about catching something, and then of course the moment it's at the end when she comes into the office after the serious conversation with Colin, and the bird that she was complaining about is just sat on her desk, which is our ending credit shot for this episode.
Do you know what? It's the first time I've had to end the credits early. I was sick of hearing that damn bird.
So no, all very amusing, very funny. It's them, and it makes it sting because in the back of your head something bad's going to happen between these two on May 15th. Where we're building up to it, but it is a very likable, fun, enjoyable little prank back and forth episode in the present day. Until Colin finds out about this, and we see Colin's at a dinner with funnily enough an actor from both Dollhouse and Cabin in the Woods, Frank Kranz. Whose name I can't remember his character's name on Dollhouse. It's bugging me, but
I haven't seen it in far too long.
Yeah, but that's him, and it's funny because he's now playing the hotshot middle-aged businessman, and I'm like, you were like the young techie guy who's like goofy, like that's who you've been in almost everything I've seen you in, and now you're playing the big shot. It's weird. So hard to take him seriously in that role a little bit, but basically he's actually higher up in the company than Colin is, and he even dangles, oh, if this all goes through and Homecoming's successful, maybe you'll even make it to Redwood, which we know in present day or in the future, because this is present day technically. He does make it to Redwood. He is there. Well, it's Homecoming that gets him there, or something else. But
I mean, we have to assume so at this point.
I don't know. I guess it's just because nothing about Homecoming feels like a success. But that's just from our perspective.
Well, I mean, I'm going to disagree with that, because here, when Colin is chastising Heidi, he's like, "Oh, what's the point of what we're doing?" And it's like, it is the first confirmation about making them forget things, right?
Sure, yeah.
And we've seen that she's forgotten things. We know that it proves that Homecoming is a success. The drug works.
The drug works. I don't know if that necessarily means that it's a success, though. I don't know if I agree with that assumption.
I think that's the point of what they're doing is making sure the drug works.
That's the point of what they're doing. But these incidents and the way he's scared about her contacting him, suggesting to me that it's not a clean cut exit. This is not a happy ending. In general, even if the actual it might work enough that he gets his promotion and whatever else, but this isn't just a clean cut. No, it's a success because the drug works. There's more to it than that. Otherwise, there wouldn't be an investigation. Otherwise, there wouldn't be this violent incident. It's not clean cut. Otherwise, why is he nervous about her contacting him now? Because at first I'm like, doesn't he expect her to not remember anything? Because obviously in the flash forwards, he's on his way to Tampa. He wants to go see her. And he comes down. He lies about being in Milwaukee. He has that moment with the girl at the airport, or maybe it was the car rental place, where she's like, "Oh, I get you. Yeah, my grandmother dies all the time. It's like, yeah, I get it. You're lying." But he's a dick about it because of course he is. And he comes in and he sits in the restaurant and he gets served by her, and she's just acts like he's a stranger, and he seems kind of surprised about it at first, but I think he's maybe more surprised just because he was expecting her to remember because of the phone call, and by the time he's leaving, he looks relieved almost. He's like, okay, everything seems fine.
Yeah, I think you said, oh, wasn't he expecting her to have forgotten? I think it's the phone call made him assume that something had gone wrong.
Yeah,
that she'd remembered.
Yeah, and then of course everything's fine. He's happily paying her. He's almost getting chatty, by the time he gets to the end because he's feeling comfortable. And then he notices the jar with the business cards, and he sees Carrasco's card in there, and he just about shits himself. And then he's phoning his receptionist and going, "Hey, look into this guy. We have to deal with this. Shitty things are happening." So that was super interesting, as was the scene where Carrasco goes to Schreier in the future.
Who seems just totally out of it.
And I have to imagine when they were talking about side effects of pulling him out, this might be the lasting side effect is his mental state.
I think it could be, yeah.
He's very nervous. He's very quiet. He does, he eventually says things like, "Oh, I warned him. I told him about the trees. I warned him about
He
her."
sounds like a crazy dude.
He does sound like a crazy dude. I mean, we know he's kind of right about some stuff, but he's definitely paranoid and delusional. And he gives Carrasco a leaf, and I don't know if the leaf actually means anything as of yet, or because he sort of hands, because I thought he was giving him like a bit of paper or like
Yeah.
or a USB stick or something, and then it was just a leaf, and I'm like, is this like giving him doubt that something actually went on, even though everything he said was kind of adding to the suspicion, like something weird happened there.
Yeah, it could be, these are the type of trees you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and obviously, I think if you want evidence that it's shady, right? And
As if we haven't got enough.
yeah, but I think just the idea that whatever they've done with Homecoming, it's not something that is public even in the future. Now that they've got it, theoretically completely working.
No.
It's something they're keeping secret. The DoD don't know about this. They're trying. He's scared of Carrasco finding out, which means it's sold in the black market behind closed doors. If that, like, it's
If it is, it could have been a case the side effects were worse than expected, so they had to, just pretend it never happened.
yeah, going back to it's not realistic. I mean, it worked on Heidi. Maybe there was a small success rate, but
Yeah.
was it working on everyone? What was are most of the soldiers who took it in a bad place?
Could be, yeah.
So a lot going on there. A lot going on with. Really enjoying the future stuff now, especially now everything's kind of closing in, and actually following Colin on his story and seeing what he's doing with it.
It's interesting stuff.
Yeah, and him, feeling quite good about it until he sees that card, and it's like, shit, this guy's going around.
Yeah, he's terrified. It's cool.
So, no, really dug all that stuff. And it was a good scene as well with Walter and a new soldier, a weak oneer, if you will, who's talking about going home. And Walter, like, is really kind of like almost selling the place. Like, he kind of believes in it because of Heidi. He's like, how much we're worth. How much they've invested in us. It's $100,000 each. He's like, what? Yeah, we pay that back because they get us upright and we go and buy houses and we pay taxes and that's kind of how we pay it back in a way. And he's kind of selling it, and it's not so much that he's a propaganda machine, but he's definitely sticking up for it more than most of them would. You get this feeling it's because he has connected to Heidi in some way, and I think and it's not so much that he's just enamored with her. It's more that because he's bonded with her, he believes that she wouldn't do anything shady, and therefore he trusts that the whole thing therefore is probably.
No, that's it. They're pulling practical jokes on each other now, which is it's very similar to like the Titanic rising story. It's what him and the guys do when they're all in the squad together, right?
Yeah, she feels like a fellow human being and not this suit who's just there to do the business thing.
She's one of the gang.
Yes.
Which she's not just the corporate person there to oversee it. She's on their level, the way he sees it.
Yeah, and if we go back to Colin present day, after this conversation, where he's told, hey, no, you need to get this done if you want this promotion, or who knows what will happen. That's when he immediately kind of almost like a knock-on effect of how we saw the other guy rat in Heidi because of a scene. This scene immediately falls on with him. This motivates him to call Heidi, and basically chastise her and say he knows about the room, he knows about her being in there and how that looks. He doesn't even give her a chance to explain. No explanation is good enough. He's just there to like drill into her, do better, get this done. Don't have feelings. Don't do anything like this. Just collect the data, do this, and threatens to fire her, and she is somewhat distraught, and that's when she goes into the office and sees the bird just casually sitting there. So, and we know she's missed a call, but obviously not in a row yet. This is
but this is the start. It's starting to slip.
Yeah, now she may not want to answer, because if this is what the phone calls are becoming, then she'll maybe have a reason to not pick up.
Definitely.
So I can see that being a thing. At first, just because she wants to stall in case she thinks she's going to get fired, and then maybe it'll, snowball from there.
Yeah, it all depends on what happens next, doesn't it?
Well, we're halfway though. That's episode 5. So,
Yeah, pacing's very interesting
it's a very interested pace show.
because I feel like it feels like we're further than halfway in many regards.
Mm.
The mystery itself of what's actually happening feels like okay, no, that's about right halfway, but the build to this incident with Walter feels close.
It makes me wonder, like, do we get several in a row building up to it where it... Because I think the reason why you're saying that is because it feels like it's just taking a turn to a negative, right? Not that they are in a bad place with each other, but, you know, does Heidi try to pull back now because of this warning? Does that make Walter react in a negative way because he thinks that she's pulling back because she's scared of him or just because she doesn't want to be friends anymore? And how will that make him feel? And does that escalate things? And it makes me wonder: do we get a lot of awkward before we get to the fear and tension? Before we get to the burst, the outburst, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I'm also wondering. It's possible we could get the outburst slightly earlier than we're expecting, and we could actually just have a couple of episodes at the end, entirely in the future point of view.
I could see one for sure.
Yeah, I can see one or two.
I
wouldn't expect more, but
I feel honestly, I feel like rather than that, I think it's just maybe. I feel like we've been gradually getting more of the future stuff. I think what will happen is the final episode will be a mirror of the first one, where we'll get maybe 2 present day scenes, and most of it will be in the future. Because I feel like this one has definitely had the most future scenes in terms of runtime.
Yeah, it definitely felt that way.
Because it had not only a Carrasco scene, but it had like a plot with Colin that had. Yeah. I think we went to the future like 4 times, and we've never went 4 times before.
No, they've really fit a lot into this half hour, didn't they?
They did. So I'm fully expecting that maybe next time. I mean, I could be wrong here.Maybe we'll just go back to like more present day stuff because it'll be more relevant next episode. That could be the case. But I'm just wondering if it's actually an intentional, gradual shift.
No, I'm with you.
But hey, maybe it's just a stab in the dark. But no, I'm probably the most into it I've ever been. Like I feel like I'm more into it with every episode.
Yeah, me too. It's I think I said I started like it's good, different but I wasn't that into it. It's grown on me as we've gone through it. Obviously that impeccable direction anchored me at the start.
Yeah,
and that's been there throughout. But the mystery and the characters have gotten more compelling as we've gone on.
Yeah. Some small details to point out. The fact that Colin is chasing chickens as he's on the phone to Heidi, because obviously we've just seen the other guy he's just because they're about to have chicken for dinner, so he's like chopping the head off, he's taking the innards out, he's doing all that. I think it's notable that he's trying to catch a chicken, almost to emulate the man he's aspiring to, and failing.
Yeah,
as he's talking to Heidi, it's just kind of that desperation. I thought that was a neat little touch that was in there.
Yeah, well, it's good.
But hey, so that is episode 5 of Homecoming. So let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you want to support the channel and everything we do here, including this review of this series and everything else, head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv and you can do that over there. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?